Good morning. Welcome back to the shop for another edition of Shop Talk on Monday. Yep. So I thought we'd go over the customer with the John Deere. You guys have posted a lot of great comments. And the reason I put it out there to you is to see where the majority of you are if you're on the fence or pro, con, and why. And I was very pleased in the responses. One wanted to possibly blame the mechanic. The thing is, in my shop, I have to accept all blame. He got a little bit of a different look from me for not catching it, but you can't catch everything that comes through the shop, and you can't always go by what the customer tells you. When this machine originally came, he had called and wanted to know if he could bring it right over. I said, yep, go ahead. So he brought it right over, and I said, what's the problem? He said it was going right along, and all of a sudden he heard a bang noise and it wouldn't go any farther. And my mechanic was out, the main mechanic was out doing a service call on the road. So I went out and looked at it, and I could see that one of the big tensioner springs had come loose underneath his deck. So I said, if that's all it is just hooking the tensioner spring back up, tightening up your belt, it shouldn't be that expensive. So we left it like that. The following Monday, Claude got underneath it and looked and said, what's the issue with it? I said, it looks like the spring come off, the belt got loose, and it won't drive. He said, well, it's a little more than that, but he said that the belt is shot. He said there's no sense of hooking the spring back up unless you replace the belt. So we ordered a belt for it because the guy said, no hurry, this is a second machine. Belt comes in. We get it on the unit. Claude hooks up the spring so that there's good tension on the pulley. I walk away thinking that's it. And Claude come in a little bit later and said he was still having problems trying to move it. It sounded like the pulley was moving. So he took the battery, or he stuck his hand underneath there and see that the actual nut on the shaft of the transaxle was finger loose. So he assumed, but you know what assume means, an ass out of you and me. He assumed that just tightening it up would solve the problem. It didn't. So it worked all right with the tightened pulley. Until, I'm not sure if he went uphill, it doesn't matter, but after a week and a half, it had started slipping again, but this time the belt didn't come off, the spring didn't come off, nothing come off. It was simply in the transaxle. So that's how it got us to him bringing it back. And the original bill was the cost of the belt, which I think was $32, and then the rest was labor, bringing it up to $248 before tax. So a little over $200 in labor. To do that the way we did, the correct way, took two of us. So if there's two of us out there working on something, we just take and double our labor rate normally. So instead of at 40, it's $80 on a lawnmower. So basically, we doubled our labor rate to $80. So 5 times 8 is 400, and then the cost of the belt would be 32. So it'd be 432. He would build 248 originally. So some of you guys have suggested that I take the labor off the first one, subtract it from the second one, and then build him for that, which that still would have brought him up on his labor of, because we paid for the pulley this time. I didn't charge him anything on top of that for the parts. So that brought it up to, let's see, 5 hours, it'd be $400, 200, it'd be $160, $150 is what the difference would have been, plus parts. I was asking for 100 straight up, so that was even less than what the original repair would have cost. And Jason's correct. Normally I wouldn't put that kind of money into a unit that's that old and comes in with a broken frame. We did it because he asked if we could do it, you know. Is it safe? Yes. I'll guarantee my work. But that's, you know, what one of you others had said, you know, that, and it's so true. Everything that goes out of this shop has got my name on it. Whether I like it or not, my name is on that, and my reputation is on that. And that's a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. You're only as good as your word. You're only as good as what other people feel you are when it comes to business. When it comes to yourself, you don't need other people to prop you up. But for a business, you do need a solid reputation, or people will not bring their stuff to you. So the best course for me was to go ahead and keep my reputation and take the loss. Simply put, take the loss, good customer, my reputation is intact, move on. You can't look back, you just got to keep looking forward and for those new jobs. Now, the other thing that was brought up was, you know, when it comes to giving customers estimates. And what I've learned over the years, especially the customer that says, just give me a ballpark, I'm not going to hold you to it, will be the first one that tries to hold you to it if it becomes more than what you had originally talked. And the thing is, you know, you shop owners and mechanics out there, you know, you don't have a sixth sense when it comes to being 100% sure what's wrong with the unit until you get into it. And that's why I've always told you with estimates, it's going to cost you an hour's labor. And that way we can go through it quick and figure out what's going on. We should be able to find it within the first hour. And most often we can correct it within the first hour too with most of the jobs. So I'm very careful about giving customers actual dollar amounts on estimates. I mean, we were asked yesterday. Yes, I did pickups on Sundays. Yes, I need a vacation. Okay, one of our customers, we service both of their lawnmowers. They have a 15 and a 13-year-old that are hard on equipment. I think that sometimes they purposely break it so they haven't got to do it. But when they left here this spring, they were both at 100%, all ready to go. Everything was great. So I got in here Sunday morning, and I see the answering machine was blinking, and it was one of our regular customers, and she said that her husband had been trying to fix one of the mowers because they were both down, and he was away for the weekend. Could we come over and see if we couldn't get one fixed? Because she said that he was disabled and it was hard for him to get underneath and stuff. So we get over to the first one, and that's one of the newer Craftsmans, the red ones. I hop on it, it starts right up. So I'm looking at Claude like, I don't know. Claude says, engage the deck. Then the deck started clattering like terrible. So we shut it off. We lifted the chute cover. And kid you not, the blade that was just like this, a little bit of a pitch, was like this. And she come out and I said, what the heck did they hit? She said, I do not know. So she said, how much is this going to cost to fix? I said, well, it's going to cost you a set of blades, or at least one blade. I haven't looked at the other side. And an hour's labor. So I said, you're ballparking it right around $70 to $100. I said, what's the matter with the other one? Oh, and the Craftsman, the front tire went soft. Now, we hate it when anybody puts in the goop or, the tire repair stuff that's supposed to seal the hole. But this gal's husband had somehow got some of this swelling insulation foam that you spray and it puffs out. He'd gone around both sides of the bead on that. What a mess. You're never going to clean it up. But I told her, I said, I've got a couple donor tractors, lawnmowers. I said, I'll just pull one of the tires off one of those and throw it on yours, and this one here you might as well throw away. It's junk. So she said the other one's out back. So we went out back, and it didn't want to start in the beginning, but we got it started. And the issue was the belt that runs the deck. It's Cub Cadet, the deck belt, was bad. There were large chunks out of it. So we knew, she's like, Eric, how much is this one going to cost? I said, you're looking at just about the same money. I mean, by the time you buy a belt, an hour's labor. So she said, okay, get them both fixed. I said, well, we only have room on the trailer for one. We didn't bring the big trailer because we were just looking at one. And she said, well, while you're here, can you look at the push mower? I said, what's the matter with the push mower? She said, we can't get it started. So I walked down with her to the barn, and there was the push mower. I hit the primer 4 or 5 times, give her a pull, start right up. Sounds good to me. She said, I never knew there was that thing you had to push on the side. So I told her, I said, well, put the boys on that for a while, and then they will be happy and pleased to get the riders back to keep your yard mowed. But the hard thing is when it comes to estimates is people want to hold you to what you tell them. And if you underestimate it, they become crab apples. If you overestimate it, they walk. Because they're not willing to put a lot of extra money into it versus just putting it towards a new one. So they end up walking on that. So you end up losing the job, or you get bitched at because your estimate was too low. So figure where you think it would be, and then add an extra $50 to $80 to it, just to be on the safe side. Or you can hold it at that and then give them a call back and say, I misquoted. The price of blades are higher than what I thought they'd be, or the belt is higher than what I thought they'd be, and just go from there. So basically, when it comes to an estimate, you want to give yourself some wiggle room. You want to bet it a little higher than what you would think it is. You have to be honest with the customer. Like Jason said, that the repairs are going to cost more than what the mower would be worth if you tried to sell it. You're going to lose some jobs no matter how you look at it. But those jobs probably would have cost you, the shop, and the business owner money instead of making money. And that's what we're in business for. It's not to get rich. It's just to make a living for you and your employees. So when it comes to the comment section, you guys are great. And just so you know, I'm learning from you guys as well. So it's not a one-way street of me talking to you. You guys are talking back. And that's what I wanted the channel to be about. Not about me. It's about us growing together and maybe swapping some tricks, trades that will help us all be better at what we're doing as the new era comes in. So on that note, you guys have a wonderful Monday. Hoo-ha.